ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So very happy to be here at Zoga Yoga in Dubai. So we are discussing a very important topic called understanding karma better. So how many of y'all have some idea of this word called karma? Have you all ever heard this word before? Yeah? You all have some idea about it? Yeah, but okay. What is your little understanding on karma so that I understand a little of your understanding so that I can build from there? Yeah. Okay, so karma, one understanding of karma is actions. Anything else? What is your understanding behind the word karma? The payback. Okay. So she said, what's your name, madam? What's your name? Radhika. So she said karma means actions. And what's your good name? Avinash. So Avinash said karma means the payback, reactions. So correct, we will understand. Sometimes the Sanskrit words, especially at different places, there are different meanings to it. So karma means actions, karma also means reactions. Any other understanding if you all have had of the word karma? Intention, wow. 3 important words, right? Action, reaction, intention, wow. I think you all have some understanding. Good. So today we are going to understand a little more about this topic of karma. Just like in Dubai, you have certain rules and regulations here. Na? You overspeed, immediately there is a fine that happens. So similarly, just like in the city, you have certain rules. You may have done something like you speed and you go. You might have forgotten what you have done, but immediately there is a camera that has noted it, isn't it? So similarly, if the city can be that efficient in managing things, they have rules, regulations, seeing that it's implemented. In the overall universe also, there are certain rules, and karma is one of them. In English, there is a phrase which says, if you don't try to break rules, because if you try to break rules, you will break yourself. So if you are in a city like Dubai, we understand what the rules are and you abide by it. If you don't, then you get fines or whatever. So similarly in this universe also, whether we agree or not, there are certain rules in this universe, the way it functions. And karma is something that is a very important law. So understanding the law of karma is something that is very crucial so that our life becomes much more better and meaningful. So what we are going to discuss today is from Bhagavad Gita. Have you all ever heard about Bhagavad Gita? Heard of Bhagavad Gita? So Bhagavad Gita is a very important scripture which teaches us the principles of life. What are the various rules and regulations according to which the universe works, right? So what we are presenting now is from the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita principally talks about 4-5 important topics. One topic, one of the subjects of Bhagavad Gita, so you are all learning yoga, right? So yoga, there is a practice, there is asana, and yoga also has a philosophy behind it. So Bhagavad Gita is the philosophy behind yoga. So Bhagavad Gita has 4-5 very important topics. One of a very important topic of Bhagavad Gita is Atma, soul. This is a very important principle to understand. So just like we have the body and we have a mind, and we also are the soul. So understanding the Atma is a very important concept. When we speak about karma, many people have this question. When you go through certain suffering in life, you may see that, or you may see someone near and dear to you going through a certain suffering in life. Immediately the question comes, this person has not done anything bad. Why is something wrong happening to him? Why there is suffering in his life? The reason is because we picturize this life as the all in all. So Bhagavad Gita explains this principle that we are Atma and the soul is on a journey in this universe, in this world. And the soul transmigrates from one body to another. So understanding Atma is very crucial to understand the concept of karma. So in the Gita, Lord Krishna says, there's a verse in the Gita where he says, Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. There's a particular verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna says, to understand karma, even though the topic is understanding karma better, to understand karma is not easy. It's a very, very complex subject matter. Why? See, God's role is so difficult. What is basically karma? Every thought, every action, every word that we speak is calculated and there's a certain reaction to it. That's the basic understanding of karma. So now there are millions of people, millions of living entities. Everything what everyone does is calculated, and at the right time the reaction comes about. So Lord Krishna in the Gita, he explains the subject of karma is actually very difficult even for great sages and demigods to understand. So Lord Krishna in the particular verse introduces 3 words. So generally when we speak about karma, like she said actions, when we say actions, we have a general understanding of actions. But here Lord Krishna speaks about 3 kinds of actions, 3 kinds of karma. The first kind of karma is called just karma or good activities, good deeds, like helping someone, feeding someone, these are good deeds, opening a hospital, anything good that you do. The second category, the second type of karma is called vikarma. Vikarma is basically wrong activities, sinful activities. That is vikarma. That means you're breaking the rules of the laws of the universe. And the third, which we will discuss a little later, is called akarma. Akarma basically means neutral activities. For a good activity, if you do a good activity, what you will get? What will you get? Something good, right? So in the Bible, there's a saying, as you sow, so shall you reap. So basically, this in essence is the principle of Bhagavad Gita, right? What we do, we get it back, maybe now, maybe later, but it comes back to us in some way or the other, right? So when we do good activities, we will get good results. Like she said, the meaning of the word karma is action, good action. What you will get? Good reaction. The payback will be good. So that is one understanding. When you do wrong activities, what you get? You get wrong results or you suffer in this world. If you do good, you enjoy, you are happy. If you do bad, you suffer in this world. But there's a third kind of activity which is called spiritual activity, divine activity. When we connect our activities, our actions with the right intention, when you have the right intention to serve the absolute, you have a divine purpose in life, then those particular activities that you do become spiritual. And those divine activities, you will not have to suffer in this world again. So basically, you all are learning yoga and asanas here, pranayam. But what does the word yoga actually mean? What is the meaning of the word yoga? Anyone? Union. Perfect. Correct. So yoga means to connect or to unite. Whom are we uniting with? As Atma, we discussed, na? We are all Atma, spirit, soul. When we connect back to God, that is called yoga. So how does that connection happen? The connection throughout our entire life, we are doing actions, right? Thinking is also an action, doing is an action, speaking is an action, we are doing actions. When we marry these actions with the intention to serve God, with the intention to please the divine, then that action becomes completely on a spiritual platform. And that is called karma yoga. You have heard of karma yoga? Karma yoga means activities, karma, but marrying it with the right intention of keeping God in the center. So when you do such kind of activities, then there is no further reactions. There's no further reactions. Because in this world, it's like karma is a complex cycle. Complex cycle. Just like, if you have seen, if there is a thread that is a bundle of thread lying, when you try to remove that thread single, it's so knotted, it's very difficult to remove it. So our lives, because of every thought, every word, every action, creates certain reactions, and our life has become very, very complicated. But when we serve the divine, slowly we are getting out of this complex mess. So these are three terminologies Lord Krishna introduces, three types of karma. What is the first type of karma called? Karma. Karma means good activities, good actions. The second type is called vikarma, bad actions, wrong actions, sinful actions. And the third type is akarma. Akarma means neutral. Yes, spiritual activities, spiritual actions with the right intention. When we do that, then we are actually slowly we are getting away from this complex mesh of karma, and our life becomes very, very liberated. So we all understand, when there are too many thoughts going on in the mind, isn't it? When the mind is like too complex, or your situations in life are too complex, how do you feel? You feel lost. But when the whole thing has become very simplified, you feel liberated. So when you understand the subject of karma properly, and when we learn how to make the right actions with the right intention, then slowly our life gets sorted. Everything sorts off. I wanted to explain to you all one chart. Can I draw this chart? This chart now, this particular flow chart that I will show you, will throw so much light on why we are suffering in this world. All of us go through issues, right? Either maybe a physical issue or mental issue. What is the root cause of suffering? This chart will explain. And this flow chart will also show us the reason why we commit wrong activities and how wrong activities can complex our life further. So I'll explain to you, I'll just draw this chart, explain to you, and then we can further take up the discussion. Probably, yeah. Hare Krishna. You all can see this chart. Vishako, only can you just turn the camera slightly? The view is from the side. Yeah. I think it's fine. You all can see this chart. If you understand this one chart now, we will understand karma also properly, and we will understand the path of freedom. We all want freedom, na? Freedom from suffering. So we all go through our own sufferings in life. The story starts from the first principle called ignorance. In Sanskrit, the word ignorance is called Ajnana, ignorance. And what is this ignorance? See, the Gita, the basic principle of the Gita, or any of the scriptures, whether it is the Bible or any of the holy scriptures, the basic principle is that we are all spirit. We are all Atma. Ignorance means when we forget that we are Atma, when we start to identify with this temporary body. This is me, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm this, I'm that. These are identities. But we are not that. Right? Like before in our childhood, at a certain point in life, we were given a name. Isn't it? Before we were like, say, after 2-3 days, you are named something. But before you are named, who are you? We identify so much with a name, nationality, this, that, so many things. But actually, we are none of this. These are just designations. Understanding? So the scriptures explain, Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. So the start of all problems come when we forget that we are Atma. When we forget we are Atma, we start to identify with the body. We start to identify with the senses. The senses pull us in different directions. The mind, eyes, they keep pulling us for gratification. The senses want enjoyment. And all this comes because we have forgot to enjoy on the level of the Atma. We seek enjoyment on the level of the spirit. So as soon as ignorance comes, your desire to enjoy this world comes. And this is called in Sanskrit Kutam. Kutam means sinful proclivity. The impetus to do wrong, to break rules, break laws, that is there. So we, in our hearts, because of this ignorance, we have lot of wrong desires. The amount of wrong desires we have is unlimited. But when there may be a lot of desires in our heart, but when we choose to focus on a particular desire, that kutam becomes bijam. So this example is, the way you can understand karma is, imagine sin or a wrong activity is like a seed. It's like a seed. You sow the seed on the ground. What will happen? Slowly the seed will grow into a plant, a tree, and fruits will come. So that seed is your action, and that fruit is the reaction. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you sow mango seeds, you'll get like delicious mango fruits. If you sow some other neem seed or something, you'll get a bitter fruit. So it all depends on what we sow. So when we choose we may have unlimited sinful desires, but when we choose to focus on one, that becomes bijam, a very specific sinful desire that we are focusing on. And then when we keep meditating on that sinful desire, that wrong desire, at one point it turns into action. You might have heard this understanding. Thoughts becomes words, words become actions, repeated actions becomes a habit, and what is your habit will lead to your destiny. So who creates our destiny? We ourselves create our destiny. We are the makers of our own destiny. That also means that if at a certain point we feel that this is not where I want to be in life, we have a choice to change our decisions, change our thoughts, which will lead to changing our words, changing our actions, and then destiny will change. Getting the point? So sinful proclivity leads to sinful desire. When we actually choose on a particular sinful desire, we zoom in into a particular sinful desire, then we do something that is called papam. Papam is vikarma. wrong activity, right? Sin. When we do sin, the first reaction, there are two types of reactions. One is called aprarabdha and one is called prarabdha. Aprarabdha means reaction in store. You have not yet experienced it, but you will get it. Like a simple example, if you plant a coconut seed, it takes years for the coconut tree to grow and coconut fruits to come. But will it come or not? It will definitely come, right? So when we commit a sin, the reaction sometimes come immediate, but sometimes it takes a long time for the reaction to come. So that is called reaction in store. And then after a certain point, the aprarabdha becomes prarabdha. That means it becomes a present reaction that we experience. So that means what? Many people have this question, I didn't do anything bad in life. Why am I suffering? Why do bad things happen to good people? The point is, we may have done something in the past which we have forgotten of, but that reaction of that time, that years ago, is coming now. Understanding? So that's how the calculations work. We may not remember, but there's a saying in English, in the Bible, God's mills grind slowly, but they grind exceedingly fine. It may take time, but then surely what has to come will come, right? So we suffer. From prarabdha karma leads to suffering. But the problem is, the story doesn't end here. The issue is what? When you do a sin, you will suffer. That is for sure. That's the rule. The problem is, when you commit a sin, you suffer, but it strengthens the desire to sin again. It becomes like a vicious cycle. We all have an idea of habits, right? First time you do a certain wrong habit, you can pull out of it easily. But then the more you indulge in it, it becomes a vicious cycle, very difficult to pull out. It goes in a negative spiral altogether. So the best is to treat the disease. What is the disease? Ignorance is the disease. Therefore, in our Vedic scriptures, knowledge is very much encouraged. How do you get rid of ignorance? By knowledge, by understanding. So therefore, investing time in understanding the scriptures, helps us understand life, understand ourselves properly. This is called self-realization. We think that we are this body, but when we actually practice yoga, understand these things, we understand that we are something divine. We have a higher purpose in life. We have a higher existence in life. And then the whole understanding becomes very clear. Does this chart make sense to all of y'all? Understanding? So this is why it is explained that knowledge, especially what is given in the Bhagavad Gita, is very important. Is very important because this knowledge is what actually liberates us. So now, we saw three kinds of karma. I told you, good karma, bad karma. We saw how bad karma, complicates our life very further. And then how do you get rid of all this? Is a karma, neutral activities. So when we understand that I am a spirit, and in that spiritual level, you marry your intentions to serve God, the Absolute, the Paramatma, then the whole thing becomes very, very clear. So I told you the reactions, when we perform a certain action, the reactions are of two kinds. One is an instant reaction and one is a delayed reaction. Like, I give you the example of a coconut seed. You put a coconut seed, it takes time for it to come. You have a mustard seed, you put it in weeks, a mustard plant will come. So there are certain actions, you do something, you may immediately suffer. Like you eat something wrong in the day, you have overeaten, the next day you will suffer. But there are certain things you may be doing wrong for a long time, at the end someone may get cancer, some disease may come because of your wrong habits in life. So, understanding these things are important. So another one misconception that people have about karma, people feel that let me keep doing wrong activities and to substitute for those wrong activities, I'll do some good activities, right? You may just keep committing crime, one after another, amassing wealth in a very wrong way, and then you may feel that let me just give charity, it will neutralize, But the law of karma doesn't work like that. General understanding of maths is what? 7 minus 4 is 3. But this doesn't apply to the law of karma. 7 good activities. If you do 7 good activities and 4 bad activities, what will be the result? Huh?
11 activities.
Yeah, it's not going to be 3. For the 7 good activities that you do, you will get good results in 7 different ways. But for the 4 bad activities that you do, that suffering will come. It definitely has to come. So you can't evade it. You can't say that, on one end I will do wrong, on one end I'll keep doing good. It doesn't work like that. You have to learn to stop the bad also, right? So this is what about the various reactions that we have. So the scriptures explain something very interesting. We were discussing this point of intention. So till now what we saw was karma means actions, different kinds of actions, and reactions. For different kinds of actions, you have different kinds of reactions. The third very important principle is intention. See, as a living entity, as Atma, the only thing that we can do is desire. This is the only thing that we can do. Other than that, we need God's help, we need support of the universe to actually help us fulfill the desire. I'll give you an example. In the Gita, this principle is explained of doer. Who is doing it? Karma is an action. Now, for your action to become successful, there are 3 kinds of doers. So the Gita explains Atma, us, material nature, which is called Prakriti, and then God sanctions. So I'll give suppose you are sitting in this place, right? From here you want to go to Burj Dubai, correct? From here you want to go to Burj Dubai. There's a taxi guy waiting outside. You sit in the taxi and you tell him, take me to Burj Dubai, and he takes you there. After you go there, he'll tell you, pay me, whatever is my money you give me. Now if you tell him, Baba, you also enjoy the ride with me, you also enjoy the trip, so why should I pay? Is this logical? He also definitely enjoyed the trip with you, but he'll tell you, I didn't even want to go. I was happy standing here at Zoga Yoga, Internet City. I was happy standing here. I didn't want to go. Because it was your desire, I started the vehicle and I went. So now, for you to go from this place, Internet City, to Burj Dubai, 3 things are needed. You, the car, and the driver. If one of this is missing, you can't do the journey. Understanding? Imagine if you are there, and the car is not there, and the driver is there, you'll not be able to go there. If you are there and the car is there and the driver is not there, you'll not be able to go. All 3 things have to come in place. All 3 things have to come together for this action to happen. So similarly, when we have a desire, I want to go do this, do that. God is like the driver who facilitates, and material nature provides according to God's sanction. But ultimately, who is responsible? Who is responsible? Is God responsible? We are responsible because we desired. You understanding it? The onus of the decisions that we make in life is up to us. Many people, when they suffer, ultimately they'll start blaming God, they'll start doing all this, they'll start becoming negative. But the point is, when you do that, you are giving your power to something else. We have to understand that we are the ones who are desiring, so we can't blame God. So we have to understand that we are creators of our own destiny. So the way we practice this is basically whatever effort we do, definitely, see, there are people go to two extremes. Extreme is called karmavad, where you feel that action is everything. I don't need God. I just have to do my best. But then we saw in this example, without God's sanction, nothing can happen. Another extreme is daivavad, where you feel that God only controls everything. If it has to happen, it will happen. I don't have to put any action. But both don't work. A simple example, if you have a field, if you want to cultivate a field, right? If you expect that rains will do everything, ultimately rains only has to do everything. So let the rains come, crops will come. But even if the rain comes, if you have not done your effort, will the crops come? You have to make the field ready, you have to put the seed, you have to do everything. So the rain is also needed, but your effort is also needed. And the other way around, if you feel that my effort is everything, I don't care for God at all, hell with God, I'll do everything. So you keep putting effort, you have plowed the field the best way, you have put the seed, but if there is no rain, will your effort bear fruit? The effort is not going to bear fruit. So you have to find the balance of karmavad and daivavad. That means you have to put your effort with the right knowledge of what is right, with the right intentions, ultimately wait for that mercy of God to come. When both things go together, that is the principle of buddhi yoga or the principle of karma yoga. Krishna tells in the Gita, buddhi yukto jahatiha ube sukrit diskrite tasmad yogaya yujjasva yoga karmashu kaushalam. So Krishna uses the word yoga karmashu kaushalam. Karma means work, kaushalam means the art, and yoga means connection. So Krishna is saying one has to work in this world, one has to put effort, one has to do actions. That is so sure, thoughts, words definitely will come. But we have to know the art of work, being in this world, the art of yoga. And what is that? When we do it with the right intention to please God, to serve God, that is a perfect art of work. So Krishna tells in the Gita, yat karoshi yadasnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasya kaunteya tat kurushra madarpanam. So this is the message that whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we give in charity, whatever things we do, we have to do as an offering to God, right? And then that's the principle of yoga. Just like food, speaking about food, we eat food, but how do you make that food? So even in food, eating food, there's some karma involved in it, right? But when we offer that food to God, when you offer a certain prayer of gratitude, you acknowledge that this food is not man created, it's given by God. So we acknowledge the presence of God and we do it in a certain divine way, then that food becomes a very sanctified food. And when that food goes in, it doesn't create complexities in life, but it actually liberates. So these are some of the thoughts of the topic of karma I had. Anyone has any questions, any comments? Did you all understand a little?
What is destiny?
Huh?
What is destiny?
Exactly. So basically, the result is the destiny. Result is the destiny. I wanted to show you a chart. Actually, if I had a projector, I would have shown you my slides. But I'll show you all this because you have asked. You can see the slide. You all can see? No? I can. Huh? Someone can hold it. I'll explain that although. I'll explain it. So that is basically connected to this chart only. Happy to see serious students of yoga writing some notes also. Mhm. So basically, uh, we discussed about action, right? We when we do a certain action, there's a certain response, and along with that, there is a free will. See, you may be in environment, an environment that forces you, that impels you to commit a wrong activity. See, we are all products of our environment. If you are there in an environment that tempts you in a certain wrong way, in that environment you may just get carried away. But even in that environment, there is a free will. The concept of free will is important. What does free will mean? Free will means at any point in life, we have a choice to make. See, the topic of karma doesn't apply to animals because animals can't choose. They are programmed in a certain way. Understanding? But as humans, we have the prerogative of making a choice. This or that. At every moment in life, there are certain choices. So life is basically a set of choices that we have made. So every time you choose something, you're exerting your free will. After you made the choice, what happens is the result, is the reaction. Understanding? Till you make the choice, the free will is there, the power is with you. After you make the choice, the power is not with you.
So when you met to make that choice, was that pre-written or is that, but then it's not free will?
Was it pre-written?
Yeah.
Good question. So it's not pre-written. It's not pre-written. So that's why we discussed this point that we are very intelligent question. So we are the makers of our own destiny. So if everything was pre-written, then literally we will be like robots. There's nothing that we have in control of, right? So what is pre-written is what we have done in the past, certain actions in this life or in the previous life, those reactions that are going to come in store, that are definitely going to come is pre-written. Understanding?
So it's the karma of previous lives that's pre-written.
Yeah, previous lives or even in this life, what we have done in the past. Like someone might have an habit of excessive drinking, excessive smoking, and the liver has failed. So because he has done certain choices in the past, there is some destiny that is playing now. But even in that condition, he has a choice whether you want to make it worse, you want to get better. There are always certain choices that we can make. Right? Like a simple example, you have taken a flight from Dubai to Mumbai. You've taken a flight. Before you sit in the flight, you have a choice which flight to sit in. Once you've sat in the flight has taken off. Then you say, I don't want to go to Mumbai, I want to go to Delhi. You can't change it. Understanding? Someone, if you go and tell in the air hostess there that I don't want, you're in the mid-air and you say, I don't want to go to Mumbai, I want to go to somewhere else. She will say, it is your destiny to go to Mumbai. You're destined. But why you're destined? Because you made the choice. Now, we don't have control. Once you have made the decision, we are going to land there. Now, in that 2-3 hour duration of flight, you still have many choices that you can make. You can decide to use the 3 hours by reading a book. You can decide to use those 3 hours by wasting time. You can do so many things. Understanding? So there are certain things from the past that may play out in our life now. But the good part is we always have that free will to learn to get better. Like in previous times, especially in areas where they grow grains, rice on a very huge scale, they have something called a silo, a storage container, huge granary, a storage container. So you put grains from top and there's a tap from down to remove grains. Now, if this particular year you have had a very good quality harvest of grains and you put the best grains on top, okay? Best quality grains on top. You open the tap down and you don't get very good quality of grains. Why? Because you have put good grains now, but already below there are certain set of grains from the previous year which is not so good. That is coming out now. Understanding? And this good that you have done, this good grains, in its own course of time, that will also come. Understanding the point? So let me just go back to this.
Does it mean that we're really
Yeah.
working on eradication of vasanas as karmic tendencies so we can then stop that churning and churning
Exactly.
and churning?
Exactly. She's also explained a very nice word, vasana. Are you all learning all this here in these classes? Very nice. That's very good. Very encouraging to see. So vasanas means basically same thing. Kutam, tendencies, wrong tendencies, wrong desires. So we are definitely working on our vasanas. So the mind is basically a storehouse of a lot of desires and a lot of previous impressions. So, in computer language, we are sitting in Internet City. If you're like a computer student, there's a word in computer language called gigo. You heard of this word? Gigo means garbage in, garbage out. If you feed through the laptop, you feed all nonsense, the laptop will throw out all nonsense. It's simple. You throw garbage in, garbage only will come out. So sanskar, vasanas basically means impressions. So if we have wrong impressions, wrong sights, wrong visions, everything wrong that we are feeding in, those same things will play out again and again.
But those also, right, can be, even if you are in your mother's belly, and if there could be impressions starting at that point.
Yeah.
It's a very,
Very true.
that it's clearly out of our control.
Yeah. Definitely. There are certain things out of our control, certain environments. But as soon as we start getting control, there are certain ways in which we could change things also slowly.
Isn't it that yoga practitioners are learning to burn the negative seeds of samskaras?
Correct.
Yoga practice?
Exactly. So focused yoga practice, right? Just like, sun rays are there, sun is there, but when you focus on that convex mirror, you focus it on a certain point, it can just burn a page. So that's the point of yoga. When we channelize all our energies onto the connection with the divine, then those seeds may be there, but those seeds get burnt away. And after that, there's no tendency for a wrong suffering to come in life.
From the readings of, it said that the yoga practitioners is no longer touched by karma. Because they work on themselves so much that negative on the Achyut, you cannot doesn't touch.
Yeah. So Lord Krishna gives an example. He gives Padma Patram Ivambasa. Lord Krishna, this is speaking about karma, about a karma yogi, a one who's connected with the divine. It's like a lotus leaf. Have you all ever seen a lotus leaf? Or at least heard about it? Where does lotuses grow? In the muddy waters. But the lotus, it's untouched. Why? Because it has a waxy coating on it. Even if water falls on it, a drop of water, it just slips away. So, like Jesus Christ put it, in this world, but not of this world. We are there in this world, we can't escape it. And we are surrounded by temptations, negativities, and so many things. We can't jump out of this world. We may want to, but we can't do it immediately. We are in this world, but we have to learn the art. The word Krishna used here, yoga karmashu kaushalam. We have to learn the art of work of putting that wax coating. That's the point of yoga. When you do that, you will not be affected. You may be in a negative environment, but you will not be affected because that layer of that connection with the divine, that yoga is there, that will keep you protected basically. So that's the art that we have to learn. Being in this world, how to detach ourselves, still not part of this world. That's the idea. And doing that in a place like Dubai is quite challenging.
You're committing sin every day. We are looking on that, really on every day, I'm not even thinking about really negative action as harming someone. But if I'm on the road, right, it doesn't matter how much practice I do. It is a tendency to really get upset or mad and scream at this person. Why is, just that, right? So in the moment, even if I'm not saying, my thought is enough.
Yeah. So the good part in especially this particular age in Sanskrit is called Kali Yuga. The good part is thoughts don't give us so much reactions. Because if every thought had to give us a certain reaction, we will be like very complex. So God is a little merciful to us. But the problem with negative thoughts, wrong thoughts is very soon repeated, it may lead to an action. It may lead to an action. So better to nib it at that level, at that thought level. See, the way mind functions, there are three functions of the mind: thinking, feeling, willing. The mind does three things: thinking, feeling, willing. Thoughts. When you meditate on those thoughts for a long time, your heart gets connected to it. Emotions come. Right? The thinking becomes not only thinking, it reaches the heart level. Emotions come. Feeling. And when you start to feel something very strong for something, you do it. You will and you do it. So if you can control on the thought level, it's nice. So what you all raised is a very good point. Definitely being in this world and being in a city like this, it's definitely challenging, but there is hope. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope if we remain in proper satsang. So in Sanskrit, it's nice that you are learning a lot of new Sanskrit terminologies: papam, bijam, vasanas. Another important word is satsang, association. We are all products of association. So if you feel that the energy out is really draining us completely, so you need a platform where you can associate with people who can uplift you spiritually. So therefore, satsang is a must, where that regular encouragement in the spiritual direction, that motivation, that inspiration comes. So that will keep us going day by day. We'll be able to go through. Does it make sense? Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the relationship between karma and dharma?
Good. I'm happy. I think we can go on for another 2-3 hours. We have really intelligent people here. So karma basically means actions. Dharma means, you can say dharma is basically a karma. We saw about 3 kinds of karma: vikarma, karma, akarma. Akarma is actually dharma. See, the word dharma, many people may have different understandings. They may give different understandings of it. But the actual understanding of dharma is the dharma of the Atma is to be in connection with that Paramatma, with that divine. And that is a true dharma. So, and akarma also means the same thing. Yoga also means the same thing. So in one sense, these are interchangeable words. Dharma, akarma, yoga. It all mean the same thing. Your divine duty. So that's why dharma, many people translate it as duty. Like, my dharma is to be a housewife. My dharma is to be an engineer, a doctor. That's one understanding of it. But the actual understanding of dharma is my dharma as a atma. See, these dharmas of the body change. You may be an engineer tomorrow, you can become a doctor day after, you can change this. But the dharma of the atma doesn't change. And that dharma is that connection, seva to that divine, that bhakti or that devotion to the divine. That is called dharma, that is called akarma, that is called yoga, to make that connect.
Shed some light on Sanatana.
Yeah, so this word Sanatan dharma. Sanatan means eternal. Eternal. The word Sanatan means eternal. So we may have temporary dharmas. The dharmas of this body is temporary. This body only is temporary. So every duty of this body is temporary. Nothing is permanent. Like in our childhood, we all were students. At that point, our dharma was to study. Now we may be working somewhere. Our dharma is to be working. We may have a family. We may have a dharma to the family, to the mother, father. These things are there. These things are like at the particular time, place, that particular dharma. Sanatan dharma means same thing, the eternal dharma of the Atma. The scriptures explain Atma is also eternal. Krishna tells in the Gita, say the body may have a birth and it may die. Anything material has a start and an end. Right? This laptop is created at a certain time. It's already like halfway through its life. At some point, it's going to get over. Its life is going to get over. So anything material has a start and has an end. Anything spirit doesn't have a start, doesn't have an end. So Krishna in the Gita, he tells Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, don't worry, because Arjuna is worried that whether I can fight, my relatives, he's very confused to do his duties. So Lord Krishna tells him, as Atma, you are eternal. There is no birth for you, there is no death for you. Atma is eternal. We are just changing bodies, but the Atma is eternal, just going through different experiences in life. So the duty, dharma of the Sanatan Atma is called Sanatan Dharma. So Sanatan Dharma basically means the eternal occupation or the eternal religion that all of us have, not the temporary ones. Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit the relationship between karma and birth?
Yeah. Very good question. So, basically, as in this particular life, let's not talk about the previous life, in this particular life, whatever activities we are doing, whatever words we speak, we are creating our next body already in a subtle form. See, everything gross starts with a subtle format. Yesterday evening, Vishal took me to Palm Jumeirah. Amazing. I mean, it's really unbelievable. And before we went there was this video of the ruler of Dubai speaking. How did it all start? With a dream. With a dream. He just had a vision. He had a desire. Right? So, Palm Jumeirah, what you see now, who saw it first? The ruler saw it in his mind, isn't it? So it was subtly created before it is created actually. So anything in this world is conceived mentally, subtly, and then there is an actual creation of it. So now, as we are living this life, we are already creating our next body in a very subtle form. It's already happening. We may not see it, it's happening. Everything that we do is getting calculated in a certain way. And then after we give up this body, based on whatever we have done, that body is ready for us. As soon as we give up this body, soul enters into that body. That's what I'm saying. We have a choice. So if you make the right choices now, you have 2-3 options. One is you can choose which body. You can either choose to get a body of a human. Even to get a body of a human, see in this, you don't find so many animals in Dubai, but there are so many animals, so many species around this world. We could have been any one of them. We have got this human form of life because we have done some good in the past, we have got this. But it's no guarantee that the next also is going to be something like that. Depends on all the choices that we make now. So I'm coming to you. So one choice is you get like a good body, a human body or a body in the heavenly planets like that, or you get a body in the lower species depending on the choices you make. But the scriptures, especially the Gita, speak something about liberation, the concept of mukti. What does it mean is, if you make certain choices, what are the choices? That means living a life based on yoga, proper karma yoga, bhakti yoga, living a life based on akarma, living a life based on dharma, sanatan dharma. When you live like this, then next time you don't get any material body. You go back, what is called the kingdom of God, what is called in Vedic scriptures as Vaikunta, the spiritual world, you go there. And once you go there, Krishna tells in the Gita, Punarjanmana vidyate. You don't have to come back again. Dubai is a great place, but still there's some suffering the other. Right? Most intelligent is, if Dubai is like so attractive, imagine what the kingdom of God is going to be. So therefore you have Jesus Christ and all this, even the spiritual teachers who come and to advertise. Just like, being in India, literally on all the flights, You have pictures of Dubai, go to Dubai, go to Dubai. That's the advertisement. So similarly, the great scriptures, the great teachers, they come to advertise. And Dubai is good, but come back to the spiritual world, the kingdom of God, you'll really enjoy there. So that's the path. So that's the best choice that you can make.
Your choices make it as a soul. And you decide that I have these lessons that I need to work on. I will choose to be born black. Is it the choice that your soul has to do, or is it something that is imposed?
Can you repeat the question again?
So, your soul, after you pass in this life,
Ah,
you get a choice as a soul, not as a human, to decide, okay, I've done these mistakes, I've succeeded in these things in this life, but now I think I'm ready for this kind of lesson. So you will choose to incarnate into a body that will teach you these lessons, with these conditions.
yeah.
As a soul, like not somebody like God or someone who can be okay, so you know that, so now you go here.
No. So basically, it's simple. You know, see, God's role is very simple in the sense, see, it's not that someone is thrown into hell, someone is thrown into heaven. It's not like that. The idea is just like when you go to a judge. See, the judge is sitting there and different cases are coming to him. One case, the judge may say, give this guy 20 lakh rupees. One case, he may say, put him in jail for 10 years. Now, what is the judge doing? I mean, it's not that the judge is, he's more inclined to someone, someone is his favorite, someone he hates. It's nothing like that. So the judge is seeing the case. And what is the case? The action the individual has done. And he is sitting with the law books. He has studied laws. So he has to match both. This case, the actions of the individual with the law, he matches both and gives a judgment. Understanding the point? There's no negotiation, yeah. It's as simple as that. So, if your actions have been good, then definitely your next body, whether it is a spiritual world, if we are intelligent, we go there. If not, at least we get a better body in the next life. So it all depends on what our actions are. Yeah.
Soul complex, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes we choose to be really in this life,
Yeah.
or the opposite.
Yeah.
So is this really some kind of form of destiny?
Yeah, it is. So sometimes it may happen that, some purification has to happen, suffering has to come. So sometimes it may come through someone who's very near and dear to you. Someone who's closest to you may be like the one who's hurting you the most. Probably in your previous life, you might have done something wrong to him, he's come here very close to you and he's like literally. So the best way is to just tolerate, understand that, because what happens is, it's a very nice question, because in a situation like this, when you start to give back, when you start to fight, what happens is you're complicating the issue further. You're not going to a solution, but you're complicating it further. So certain amount of suffering, especially from others or very close to us, sometimes we just can't escape it. So just go through it, understanding that something I might have done in the past, I really don't remember. Like now what's the time? Now it is 3:17. What you all were doing yesterday at 3:17? You all remember? 17 p.m. What you all were doing? At least I don't know. You all remember? Driving? Okay. The day before yesterday, 3:17 p.m. You were doing? Okay, forget this. Today is what? Thursday? Sorry. Last Saturday, 3:17 p.m. What we were doing? So how much can we remember? So the point is, if you can't remember what we have done last week, 2 weeks ago, it's off from memory. What we really know, what we have done in a previous life, what we have done in our childhood, it's very difficult to remember. Very difficult, because we are limited. In one sense, God makes us forget. That's also good, right? It keeps us going. But the point is what I'm trying to tell is, If we don't remember what we have done a week ago, our memory is that short-lived. How can we remember something that we have done in the past life? It's very difficult to remember. So we just need to have faith that whatever we are going through now, it's coming to me for a certain reason. See, there is no miscalculations in God's plan. It's come for a certain reason. And it's come for us to learn a lesson. You made this point, I think, to learn. It's a very important point. Just like, when you go to school, you're in a particular standard. Until you learn those lessons, you're not promoted to the next standard. If you don't learn the lessons and you fail, you have to stay back in that standard, learn all your lessons, then go ahead. So sometimes in life, the same suffering keeps coming again and again because we have not learned that lesson. As soon as you learn that lesson, that suffering goes away. You go to the next.
So, coming to what you said, can you not be the decider or the decision maker of that? Oh, okay, now, given the situation, I have learned my lesson. But why am I still suffering? Or why, it's not up to you, that someone else has to decide, okay, you learned the lesson. You finish now.
Yeah.
Or that's it.
Yeah.
So you just ride the life. You just continue.
We continue life definitely, but continue life with this.
Person to decide that okay, I learned my lesson from this, but now I want to change the situation.
You can definitely change. But if some suffering is still coming, we have to understand that there are some things that we have done in the past because of which,
Only creating cycle.
the old grains are still coming out, the reactions on the stove. So you have to hold on, keep doing good. That will come.
Our best chances in following this kind of a model is really to be reborn into another body, not to go lower into an animal, in order to
Not
really reach animal or whatever, but in order to be really eradicating get rid of all of the vasanas, because we want to stop the karmic rebirth, right? That's why we have a renunciate, right? Ascetics, they don't want any desires to be rising, because the moment desire rises, there is a karmic imprint that it's happening, right? So, and they're looking for to join the
divine,
right?
Yeah. So that's the purpose.
Just the normal people who are not ready, we can just really do the best we can to be reborn again.
No. See, it's a misconception that someone has to be a renunciate to achieve God. It's a misconception. That's why Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita which we are discussing from, Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Arjuna was not a renunciate. He was a regular guy. He was a married man. He had children. He had duties. He was a warrior. So Krishna specifically chose Arjuna because Lord Krishna knew that later in Dubai someone will ask this question. So Lord Krishna chose Arjuna to give us the example, and that Arjuna was a regular person. He was not dressed as an ascetic. He was not sitting somewhere in the Himalayas. He was in a city, busy, surrounded by people. And still Arjuna practiced it, attained perfection. He also attained the divine. So the path is open for all. So the path is just about making the connection, learning the process. It's not about who we are, what occupation we are doing. It's not that. It's about changing the internals, changing our ways of thinking, our intentions, our purpose in life, why we do what we do, changing that. Once you do that, then you also walk on the path. Some people may reach the goal earlier, some may take time. But the point is, if you are on the right path, now that's good enough. Like anytime if you all have trekked on the path to a mountain or to Himalayas, any place, the trek may be long and you'll always have someone who's ahead of you. That's fine. You may be a little slow walker, you may have to sit in different places, that's fine. As long as you're walking on the path, you have to be happy that you reach the goal. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, you'll reach the goal. So the most important thing is, are we walking on the right path? Understanding the path, walking on that path of yoga is important. Some may have a greater speed, lesser speed, that's okay. Yeah.
Will we all eventually reach the goal?
Yeah, we will all eventually reach. We will all eventually reach there. But how?
ends?
Huh?
When Kali Yuga ends?
No, not even when. No. If you don't learn the lessons, then even after Kali Yuga, Satyuga, the whole process will keep starting again. We will eventually reach when we have perfected the process, when we have completed the path. We will eventually reach, right? Because everyone is, see, in this world, everyone goes through their sufferings, enjoyments, and slowly some maturity comes. See, knowledge comes in two ways. Knowledge, one, it comes through when we learn a scripture like this. Another way knowledge comes is when we actually suffer. When we suffer now, some things dawn on us. Some sense of detachment comes, some sense of vairagya comes. So that way is also good. So someone may learn the lessons the easier way. Someone may be they may have to go to a school of hard knocks. They have to learn the lessons the difficult way. But slowly everyone will inch. But if you're intelligent, we will do it quicker. If you're not intelligent, we'll take like repeated births, and at a certain point, we'll make that decision. So eventually, we have to get there. The point is, why not now? Why suffer so much? Good question. Yeah, you had a question.
So what about not all teaching is going to be
I'm sorry.
so a lot of times beauty comes with the price, knowing that partner will react. Every person has a
Correct.
depending on the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes that beauty goes against all of this.
Ah.
So there is a duty to fear, and there's no.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
That beauty, knowing that there will be consequences. That was not urgent. There was beauty as well, but the karma must follow. Like, it goes against like
No. Okay. Very good question. Very good question. Very good question. Very good question. See, Arjuna, even though the general principle is ahimsa, it's a general principle of dharma is ahimsa, non-violence. But at a specific situation, some amount of himsa is allowed. I'll give you an example, a simple example. If cancer is growing in your body, the tumor is growing in your body, you go to a doctor, and the surgeon will tell you, you have to cut it. You have to cut it. You may say, I'm a follower of ahimsa, it's not going to work. And I'll not do it. Then it's going to spread. So to stop a bigger violence, a smaller dose of focused violence may be needed to administer. That is allowed. So Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was a warrior. So if you understand the setting of the Mahabharata, Arjuna didn't want to fight. He really didn't want to do it. If you read Gita, Arjuna said, I'm just walking out of the forest, I don't want to get into all this. Arjuna was not fighting for a kingdom. Arjuna fought because Lord Krishna told him, if you don't rule, this Duryodhana is going to rule and he's going to create a big damage in the society. So better you commit a certain sense of violence and remove this cancer out of the society so that the society flourishes overall on the path of dharma. Right? So sometimes you have to remove a bad element out. You have to remove. If you don't remove, then the whole society gets corrupted. Like, if you have a bunch of mangoes and there's one rotten mango, if you don't remove it, the entire bunch is going to get rotten. So even though you don't want to do it, but at that point, that thing is needed, right? Like during the COVID phase, you have to quarantine. If you don't do it, then it's going to spread everywhere. So certain things, certain steps at certain points are needed for the betterment of society. That was the situation. But the general principle definitely for you and me is the principle of ahimsa. For people who are like warriors and who have like special rules, that's a different case. Is it okay?
But then that means that every decision we make in walking this life has a
No.
It doesn't matter how much
No. So the vikarma, you can't decide by just the action, it's also by the intention. So Arjuna was a warrior, definitely he had to fight. But because he fought for the right cause, his action of fighting is not called vikarma. It is called akarma. It's a divine process. So ultimately, everything can be connected to the divine if you're doing it for the right intention and guided in a certain way. So now you may say, what decides what is akarma, what is vikarma, what is karma? Scriptures. So therefore, these are the basis. These are the rule books, the laws. What Bhagavad Gita and the various scriptures mention are the laws of the universe. So once you understand the law book, then you'll be able to know your decisions will be in the right direction. So you have a law book, the scriptures, and you have a guru, a saint, who is walking that path. So anytime you're confused, you go to them and then they will give you guidance. They will help you maneuver the decisions in life. Yeah?
This is easy when you're in a conscious, awakened state of mind. Sometimes you're not, so it happens. Sometimes you do stuff unconsciously. So
Can you give an example? What's
if you're awakened, you're conscious,
yeah?
you're understanding what you're doing, your actions,
Correct, correct.
you are awakened.
Correct.
You will understand the lesson happening, you understand this what's happening. Sometimes things happen when you're not awakened.
Not awakened, matlab, you're speaking about someone in like a coma state or something like that? No.
Someone who's ignorant who doesn't know what's right and wrong.
Yeah. I got your point.
Ignorance distract unconscious.
Correct. Yeah.
In a vicious state, let's say, you know,
I understand.
you're growing in an environment where you hate another religious community, you don't know better.
Yeah.
Like you're brushing your teeth, but you're just not brushing your automatic.
Yes.
And then there's no intention.
Yeah, the autopilot mode. Yeah. So therefore, to be conscious is very important. Human beings, we have to be aware. See, an example, like I land in Dubai and I am unaware, I'm ignorant of the laws of Dubai and I break a law and the police catches me and I tell them I just didn't know. Do you think they'll find me? What will they do? Will they find me or not? They will tell you, before you came to Dubai, you have to know the basic laws. It's like that. A simple example, a fire. Fire burns. A child may be ignorant, but a child puts her hand on fire, the principle of fire is still going to act. So the point is, as human beings, see, that's why for animals, the law of karma doesn't apply to them. Because they are not meant to understand that consciousness is dulled completely. But as human beings, we are supposed to be aware. If you're not conscious, if you're not educated in the right way, then okay.
As if you were talking about animals,
Oh,
and you have ears.
some connection.
I guess the question is, what if you're in a situation where you don't have the opportunity to be so aware?
Educated, yeah.
You're not in a life situation to be aware.
Yeah. So therefore, yeah, so someone who is not aware of these principles, the punishment may be a little lesser, but still it will be there because you're a human being. And especially those who become aware, then our responsibility is all the more to follow it.
What about a person who, like for instance, commits a crime but does it, crime in the so-called like a laws, like an
Yeah.
but says, oh, I did it because I know if I don't put a stop to either that person or that thing, it will ruin the rest of society.
No. He can't make that decision. So now everyone starts to decide like that. It's because everyone can justify everything. See, ultimately the mind can justify anything. I mean, the terrorists out there, they are also justified completely. They are convinced that what they are doing is right. So you can get convinced about, you can convince yourself and make yourself believe into anything, but that really doesn't make sense. So therefore, to be guided by proper scriptures, proper saints is something that's very important. Otherwise, if everyone decides, I'll decide my dharma, I'll decide what is right, what is wrong, it's going to be a chaos. It's going to be literally a chaos. Yeah, everything is objective. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anything can be justified into. You can justify anything and everything.
And that's what sometimes people do in the name
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah, in the name of religion, yeah,
it's how
definitely.
you understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, I think it's that's why I think karma starts really with the thought, because
Yeah,
a lot of times we don't do things not because of karma. We do it because we're in a society. So if you go, if somebody pisses you off, excuse my language, if you wanna just do something, you don't want to. I mean, I'm just talking very hypothetically, because there are laws that are going to punish you for that, right? You're going to end up in jail or be fined, etc. So that karmic principle starts with the thought. Because lots of times, as I said, we stop because we live in society that has rules. And we know we're going to be punished. This is aside from karma, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's catching that thought is...
So a civilized society is always based on certain rules. I mean, Dubai is that clean and that good because there are certain rules in play. And that's why you have people who are happy here, who are free here. Like Vishal was telling me that the amount of robbery, theft is less here because there are certain rules. If you have a society where everything is free, anyone can do everything, it's going to be a chaotic society. So rules are a must so that we can actually live nicely. Like we give this example, a kite? People fly a kite. I don't know whether that happens here, but in India, people fly a kite. So kite, there's a thread that is tied to that kite. So if someone thinks, let me cut the thread off, the thread is an obstruction for the kite to go higher, let me cut the thread off, what will happen? The kite will fall. So the thread apparently appears that it's not making the kite fly higher, but that thread only is actually making the kite fly higher. So the thread is actually certain laws, certain rules according to dharma. When we live life based on that, we can fly higher. As soon as you cut it in the name of freedom, let me liberate the kite, let me cut it, finished, you will land in a complex mess. So therefore, understanding these things are important. Just like, in a Dubai city, you have to understand the rules and regulations to live happily. So similarly, to stay in this universe, the law of karma is something very important to understand and to live by. Okay, one last question and then we'll end for today.
Some people come into that with the dharma of actually creating chaos and suffering.
Yeah.
For people to actually maybe their lessons or grow, or so it could be actually a positive turnout for the people that they hurt. That this person who comes into this life with this dharma is like what are they considered? That is their karma. Like actually good or bad.
Like evil people.
Ah.
Yeah, like
Question.
they're just like unborn or ignorant or just not aware of the suffering that they cause.
See, there are some innocent, ignorant people, and there are some intentional, ignorant people. See, one is you don't know and you're doing it. You're just programmed in the wrong way, you're doing it. But there are some people who know it's wrong. They know and they do it. So such people are like, such people, you have to cut them from society off completely. Because they don't understand. With repeated lessons, repeated education, they just don't understand. So what can you do? What can you do? Pardon? Oh, mentally ill people. Oh, that's a different thing. Yeah. So someone who is like mentally ill, or someone who is like mentally retarded basically. So definitely for them, the law of karma will work in a different way. It will work in a different way. It will work in a different way. Okay. Thank you very much for, yeah, please. Thank you very much for patiently hearing. I mean, we at least went for more than an hour, I think. And I've never met such an audience who is so eager, so inquisitive, taking notes, understanding. Very happy and honored to meet all of you all. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
People have more time.
Yeah. So before we end, do you all want to experience 5 minutes of a kirtan? The divine chant. We have Govardhan with us. Govardhan, please come. I know him as a small kid. He was in Goa, but he's in Dubai. Yeah, he's a kirtan singer of another level. He is of another level. You hear his kirtan, you'll forget the world. You'll go in a different world altogether. So he'll just get his guitar, and then 5 minutes we can give him a slot. Before that, any other thoughts?
Are you based in Mumbai or?
I'm based in Goa.
I'm Goa.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Goa is also like Dubai, somewhat.
Is there an ashram or
Yeah.
is it
Yeah.
which part of Goa?
I'm in the city, Panjim capital, somewhere there. We have a small island. Here also you have islands. We have a small island in which we have a ashram and we have a setup there. You all can come sometime.
We'll be happy to take you.
Yeah.
Today and tomorrow and Thursday we will talk.
Yeah. So today evening we are at Polo Mataji's place.
Where is it?
At in Arabian ranches.
Arabian Ranches.
Yeah, there's going to be meditation, chanting, as well as a talk. The talk is on.
The talk is on how to go more deeper in making that connection with God. We are speaking about the principle of yoga, how to actually make that connection very, very strong and very deep. It's a very powerful message a meditation that we have for all of you.
Prabhu, if I can just add.
Yeah, please.
From sitting here, all the questions which came about, I'm sure people still have more questions. And when
You want the mic, Mataji?
no, when Prabhu started, he said there were 5 topics in the Bhagavad Gita. We just wanted to bring everyone's attention to. We just spoke of one topic, and hence we have so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
So if we touch upon more of the other 4 subjects, it gives a much holistic view and answers to.
She's a good. I'm speaking, but she's also a very good teacher in Bhagavad Gita. She preaches. Yeah, she gives seminars. See, Gita. Actually, these are like just like you go to school, you are systematically educated. So these principles also need actually the topic of karma cannot be jumped like that. Actually, without doing the topic of Atma, without doing the topic of Paramatma, actually therefore you all might have felt that little disconnect because it's not built systematically, because in this 1 hour, this is what we could do. But, we can do something on a regular basis, once a month, once in 2 months, as much as you all want for a little more deeper understanding on these subjects. So Mataji is also here.
I was going to do this the mantra meditation and the talk is something which gives us, there's the theory and then there's the practical.
Yeah.
So it's a practical application
Yeah.
to open our hearts, to purify, to reach a level so that we can accept the knowledge, it goes in nicely. Like you were saying that when you drive and so many things come. So the meditation, as we all know, any sort of meditation will help on that level as well. So
Tomorrow morning also we are in Dubai. Where is that place?
it is God to mind. Looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Tomorrow also we are there. We are,
This evening, and then tomorrow morning o'clock. So, and please come everywhere.
so now we'll have like a 5 minutes experience of chanting. So Govardhan will lead us in this chanting and we can respond to his singing.
Can you probably tell them what the Hare Krishna Mahamudra
Yeah. So Thank you. So we chant something called the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So these are divine names of God. Rama means the source of pleasure, Ananda. We are all looking for Ananda, right? Whatever we do, whether right or wrong, it's governed by the principle of Ananda. We want pleasure. But we get pleasure in this world, but it's very limited. It comes and it goes. God, his name is Rama, matlab he is the source of all pleasure. You connect to him, there is unlimited pleasure. Ramante yogino anante, satyananda chidatmani. Krishna means all attractive. Dubai is attractive, but if we have God in our life, God is like supremely attractive, right? And Hare means the energy of God. Like in our Vedic traditions, you have God along with his counterpart, the mother and the father. Right? We refer to God as a father, so there's a mother also. So Hare Krishna is Radha Krishna, Sitaram, like that. So as we chant, you can offer your prayers, try to make that connection. So it's basically a repeated chant of the words is called a mantra, repeated chant. But then it's also about a prayer, about your intention, about connecting with him. If you do it in the right way now, this is like a very divine form of meditation.
It should be fun. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone together.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Everyone, very loud.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,